209.
All right, let's take a look at that. So we are going to do this on lap 2 because lap 1 just not enough grip. So for lap 2 here, I'm going to go all the way to the top in 3 and 4. Make sure not to turn in too late here because the wall will come at you really quick and you don't want to overdrive entry either. So I try to get on the throttle as soon as the car weight shifts down the hill. So as soon as you feel the car not want to slide up further into the wall, you pick up the throttle. And then once I'm able to straighten out the wheel, I diamond corner exit like so and go full throttle. As long as your wheel angle is heading back to the center in some sort of way, you're pretty safe going full throttle here, especially on exit where you kind of have, it kind of feels like zero gravity a little bit going up that hill. So you really want to make sure that your wheel is straight there. Okay, so entering turn 1, there's 2 ways you can approach this. First way is you could just wrap the bottom line, but I've found that it is probably slightly faster to be about half a lane up. So pretend that half a lane up is the bottom for entry, and then you kind of just stay there. So how the pedals work is I'm going to trail brake very slightly halfway down the hill and then immediately pick up half throttle. And then I'm just going to hold that half throttle and use as much wheel as necessary because this is a hot lap. We don't need to worry about tire wear. And just use as much wheel as necessary to keep the car low. And then you let the car slide up at the end of the corner. So one more time here. Trail brake, back to half throttle. Then we're going to hold it along our line. And then as it starts to slide up a little bit, we're going to use a little bit of wheel to turn back down the hill, making just a tiny diamond. And then letting go and letting the car slide up the hill so that we end perfectly as we get to the straightaway. That'll take some timing, but it's not too bad. 3 and 4, very similar idea. These turns really do kind of work similarly. So again, you'll see that I did a very small trail brake about halfway down the hill and then went straight back into partial throttle. Again, I wanted to be at half, but I had to be a little bit lower to start out with here, maybe a little more brake, and I would have been a little bit higher throttle. But now we just use our wheel and that partial throttle to keep the car as low as possible, and then we can straighten out the wheel for the exit. It's going to get loose. The biggest difference between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is the exit of 4 is a lot looser than the exit of 2. So you want to give yourself just a little bit more room than you think on the exit of 4, and that'll make it so that it's easier for you to exit. So you notice that I'm very careful about my smooth throttle in 3 and 4 because the more abrupt that your throttle is in 3 and 4, also the more likely you are to spin out. So you can see I'm just easing my throttle up the entire corner through. And even then, the moment I go full throttle, the car really does start getting a little loose. So smoothness is key, and that is how you're going to make 3 and 4 work. And now let's go talk about the long run because it is a completely different line.